Canada has taken an unthinkable step. A country long considered the most reliable ally of the United States suddenly stood openly against Donald Trump and announced its support for China. This event shocked not only Washington, but the entire Western world. No one expected Canada, the closest neighbor, tied to America by a common border, economy, and history, to be the first to cross the red line. But it all began with a new tariff package. After Trump signed an executive order in early October imposing 100% tariffs on imports from Canada, including aluminum, steel, automobiles, and even timber, Ottawa faced a choice: either submit to the economic dictates of the United States or seek new allies. Canada chose the latter. According to Reuters, the decision was made under the strictest secrecy. Just a few days after the executive order was signed, a Canadian delegation flew to Beijing for urgent negotiations. Officially, the talks were on energy cooperation, but in reality, they marked the beginning of a new chapter in Canada's history. According to Bloomberg sources, China offered Ottawa a strategic partnership agreement involving long-term purchases of Canadian gas, uranium, and agricultural products in exchange for investments and access to Asian markets. The offer was too attractive to refuse. Prime Minister Mark Carney, who had long balanced between Washington and Beijing, did not hesitate this time. In a national address, he stated that Canada cannot be a hostage to someone else's tariffs and will defend the interests of Canadian workers and Canadian companies. His words drew applause in Parliament but provoked outrage in the White House. Trump immediately responded in his usual style on Truth Social, saying Canada had taken advantage of the United States for years and that this would no longer happen. This time, however, the threat did not work. For the first time in its history, Canada decided to act not as a junior partner of the United States, but as an independent power. The Economist called it economic separatism, while the Financial Times described it as a quiet revolution in the North. The key moment came when Canada's foreign minister unexpectedly announced that Ottawa understands and supports China's measures in response to American tariffs. It was a diplomatic explosion. CBC News reported that behind this statement was a carefully calculated plan. In recent months, China had been seeking alternative supply routes for resources amid rising tensions with the United States, and Canada fit perfectly into this strategy. It possesses vast reserves of oil, gas, nickel, uranium, and rare earth elements, precisely the materials China needs under the pressure of U.S. sanctions. In return, China offered Canada massive investments in the energy sector, the construction of Pacific Coast and credit lines through the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. The negotiations caused shock in Washington.